Meanwhile, at the Dark Guild, a bearman lay seriously injured on the ground. He is Farazdag Samawi, a one-star demon lord and former president of the Giant Bear Guild. Another member of the Dark Guild, Test Subject No. 24, also a one-star demon lord, used his Thunderbolt technique to wake him up. After being struck by the Thunderbolt, the seriously injured bearman woke up. He was really angry and shouted, "Come on, Golden Dragon King, I can continue fighting with you." But suddenly, another guild member used the soft air kiss technique to calm him down, telling him that the battle was already over. She is also one of the Dark Guild's elders, named Ruth Bader, a 2-star demon sect, level 24. She remarked, "There is nothing I can do. Facing the Golden Dragon King, who is at the Demon King level, I am just a mere 2-star demon sect level. I have no right to interfere in their battle. Besides, with the president here, the winner is already determined, isn't it?" Meanwhile, Emilia, after fighting a really tough battle with Malfoy, got seriously injured. To save her life, she used her unique skill and transformed into an egg stage. Malfoy, laughing, said, "I didn't expect Lady Emilia to have such a life-saving skill. Now, no attack or magic can harm you. But I never meant to hurt you, Lady Emilia." He used the dark liquid attached to his body to grab Lady Emilia and place her into the pot behind him. As he placed Lady Emilia's egg beside Elizabeth's clone, a really bright light appeared from that cloning pot. And the next moment, Malfoy's body started sinking into him. After fully merging with the cloning pot, he broke through to the Demon King level. Upon stepping into the Demon King level, his body felt different, and he was in better condition than before, thinking, if there are more, Master can be resurrected in a short time. Meanwhile, Azathoth, after seeing the Dark Guild, wondered, how did the Dark Guild end up in this mess? As he headed toward Malfoy and transformed into his human form, he asked Malfoy, "Da Gao's connection with me has disappeared. Where is he?" Malfoy told him that Da Gao had sacrificed his life to protect the guild. However, Azathoth noticed that Malfoy had become younger and asked him if he had made a new breakthrough in his research. Malfoy told him that he had just happened to collect the right materials and asked Azathoth, "What did you come to see me for?" He explained to Malfoy, "This body's identity has been revealed and can no longer be used. I originally wanted to ask you for a new one, but I didn't expect this place to be so messy." However, Azathoth, puzzled about Malfoy's motives, wondered whether Malfoy had used the enemy's hand to kill Da Gao and eliminate the eyes he'd placed around him. Upon seeing Azathoth, Ruth Bader asked No. 24. "Who is that guy?" The bearman explained that he's from the Sea of Darkness, like Vice President Da Gao, and he's also the president outside. After he became the Pillar Demon, the guild was taken over by him. No. 24 told Ruth Bader, "Vice President Da Gao is already dead, so there's no harm in telling you now. Like Vice President Da Gao, this person is named Azathoth, one of the many consciousness clones. As for the so-called Sea of Darkness, it is not a place in our world, but another universe. Therefore, they don't have a fixed form and must parasitize other bodies to survive in our world." Ruth Bader, upon hearing this, wondered, "I thought the Sea of Darkness was somewhere in the hero's continent." Although she didn't quite understand yet, she asked No. 24. "Why does the president want to cooperate with him? What purpose does he have?" No. 24 explained. The dark gear on all of them was made by President Wes after studying his power of chaos. As for what purpose he has, even I don't know. Azathoth told Malfoy, "There were many uncertain factors outside, including the sudden emergence of the Card Guild. The plans to take over the Dwarf Kingdom and Aristotle Kingdom were temporarily put on hold now." Upon hearing this, Malfoy realized that there was nothing they could do about it. The apostles he trained here had also been wiped out. So, he asked Azathoth, "Let's just hibernate this plan for a while." Many years ago, when Malfoy was searching for a way to create an Elizabeth clone, he finally completed his research and started a trial to create the clone. As he pressed the button, hoping to see Elizabeth again. No. 24 congratulated him, saying, Master's master is finally coming back to life. The creation of the Elizabeth clone began, but suddenly an error occurred, causing damage to the clone. Frustrated, Malfoy wondered, why? What exactly is missing to create a stable supply of magic? Suddenly, blood came out of his mouth. His body was almost reaching its limit. If he couldn't break through to the peak of the Demon Lord level, he would soon die of old age. Disappointed, he thought, I've spent all my life researching Master Elizabeth's resurrection. Why should I become a human with a short lifespan? I'm not happy about it. No. 24 was also sad, blaming himself. It's all because 24 is useless. My unlimited electricity magic cannot be used as an energy supply for the Master. As Malfoy was disappointed and angry, Azathoth approached him and asked, Do you want to become stronger? I can help you. Malfoy angrily asked him who he was. A bug emerged from the black smoke and introduced itself as Azathoth, from the Sea of Darkness. He offered to work with Malfoy in exchange for giving him chaos power. Malfoy used this unknown power to experiment on mice. As he used the chaos power, the mice transformed into monsters, and dark energy appeared in his body. Malfoy became really happy to see this new development, saying, It worked. As long as I integrate the power of chaos into living things and cultivate them, I can create a magic medium suitable for our world. If I mass-produce this dark gear, then the problem of magic supply will be solved. Azathoth also agreed, telling him, We are a good fit. My power of chaos is unlimited and can be provided to you continuously, and you can provide me with a lot of bodies. As time passed, Malfoy used different types of races to experiment, aiming to create a chain of magic power supply to rescue his master. After seeing Malfoy, Azathoth asked him, despite having been through tens of thousands of experiments, why he is still unwilling to accept his power of chaos. Malfoy told him there was no need for that. He just wanted to resurrect his master and was not looking for strength or interested in ruling the world. Anyway, the deal is done now. You provide me with the power of chaos, and I cultivate the medium for you to use the power of chaos in this world. As for what you want to use it for, I don't ask, and I don't need to explain my next research to you, Malfoy said. However, Azathoth did not look happy with Malfoy's answer, but calmed himself down, saying, Okay, I have to go out for a while anyway. He was always wary of Malfoy and thought he couldn't put all his plans on him. I have to make a separate bet. I need to find someone who can check and balance him, he thought. So, he summoned his other consciousness clone, Dagao Cthulhu, and told Malfoy, From now on, he will manage the Dark Guild with you instead of me. Malfoy agreed nonchalantly, Well, whatever you want. I will always arrange the training of apostles. Azathoth responded, Okay, I'll leave everything to him, and then went into the outside world. In the present, Azathoth asked Malfoy how long it would take to regrow a Demon Lord level body for him. Malfoy replied, This is a bit difficult to handle. You can also see that this place has been turned into ruins, and all the experimental subjects have been destroyed. You should have bewitched many powerful people outside, including the Lord Sword Saint of the Sword Saint Guild. Frustrated, Azathoth asked Malfoy to stop pretending to him, saying, The current you can even get to the Demon King level in minutes, upon seeing the Elizabeth clone. He asked Malfoy why he didn't just do it. Give him the clone inside his incubation bin to use. Upon hearing this, Malfoy became really angry and warned Azathoth, If you dare to offend my master again, I will kill you immediately. He released a terrifying killing intent that was so powerful that the Bearman, a one-star demon lord, was actually suppressed to the point where he couldn't even stand. Because of this terrifying killing intent, Ruth Bader fell down into her kennels, thinking, Is this the true strength of the president? Azathoth told Malfoy that it was just a joke. Why are you so serious? At most, I'll just find another body to reparasitize myself. Upon seeing this, he realized that Wes Malfoy was a time bomb, likely to spiral out of control sooner or later. Thus, he decided not to share Elizabeth's information with him for the time being, keeping it as a bargaining chip for future negotiations. As for the resurrection of the main body, it must be accelerated. Anyway, our cooperation continues. I'll come back to you if there's any news, he told Malfoy. As soon as Azathoth left, Malfoy hugged the cloning pot and began speaking affectionately. Master, soon you will be able to return in a more perfect state. On the other hand, in Boss Town, Leping decided to explore outside on his own. This time Elizabeth had opened the portal and let him come by himself. He thought this was an opportunity to explore carefully. However, he was really surprised to see Boss Town. It's only been a month or so since I've been here. Why is the whole town being rebuilt? He wondered. As he reached the church where little girl Annie was, he thought it was time to review Annie's psychological counseling. He wondered how she was doing now. As Leping entered the church and opened the door, he saw a pig demon doing something suspicious on the floor. His expression suggested he was up to no good. Shocked, Leping asked, "What are you doing?" He angrily smashed the door and demanded the pig demon stop. When the pig demon saw Leping, he recognized him immediately. With an angry expression, Leping confronted the pig demon. "Yes, it's me again. What's wrong with Annie?" The pig demon reassured Leping. "You don't have to worry. With us here, she is resting comfortably." He stood and started walking toward Leping, grabbed Leping's shoulder, and asked, "Did you just say that I was messing around?" Leping, scared, thought, "I almost forgot. I'm the only one here and Elizabeth isn't here." The pig demon then asked Leping if that meant he was very good at it and suggested they join together because he was tired. Leping, scared but resolute in his decision to become a hero, called out to Annie, "You don't have to be afraid. I am here to save you now." Meanwhile, little girl Annie appeared, visibly surprised to see Leping, and asked him, "Why are you here?" Upon seeing Annie, the pig demon called her Big Sister. He pushed Leping aside and ran toward Annie, asking her, "Why don't you rest in your room for a while?" He grabbed Annie's hand and said, "Big Sister, please check my work, especially those stubborn stains on the floor that you mentioned before. I personally cleaned them." Upon hearing this, Annie became really happy, saying, "As expected, the whole church has a brand new look." She thanked everyone for their hard work. After hearing this, Leping sighed with relief, saying, "Oh, are you cleaning? I thought you were doing something else." Annie asked Leping what he was thinking. However, Leping, upon seeing Annie, realized that she seemed to have grown taller. Annie replied, "Yes, as Sister Elizabeth said, since I took back all my magic power, my magic level increased, and I also grew taller." Embarrassed, Leping said, "I thought that the people from the Beast Gang were looking for trouble. They were collecting protection fees from you before. Why did they suddenly become your little brother?" And he explained, "It all happened last week. Something happened to the Beast Gang, which also caused serious damage to Boss Town." Leping asked, "Was it the Dark Guild that was behind this?" Annie confirmed. "That's right. 10 days ago, the boss of the Beast Gang got the Dark Gear power and lost his mind. As he became an apostle of the Dark Guild, he destroyed Boss Town. People are running to save their lives, and Demon Pig is the little brother of the gang boss." Demon Pig, surprised to see his brother's condition, pleaded with him to wake up, telling him, "I'm your lovely little brother." Meanwhile, Azathoth watched everything from the sidelines, noting, "Sure enough, it was easier for the orcs to gain strength at the level of demon pillars than the humans and elves. It's just that it's difficult to remain rational, and they can only be reduced to a general killing machine, and are not suitable as a parasitic body." The mutated pig attacked the pig demon, intent on killing him. However, little girl Annie used her unique puppet magic and saved his life. The mutated pig became even more furious and started destroying everything. Annie told everyone to calm down, assuring them she would protect Boss Town. She summoned her puppet team and commanded them to attack the mutated pig. After a tough fight, They managed to subdue the mutated pig. They then removed the dark gear one by one from the mutated pig's body, and as the last piece was removed, the mutated pig instantly died. Upon seeing this horrible scene, Demon Pig started crying. Annie asked for his forgiveness, saying she couldn't purify the strange magic power in his body. Azathoth, upon seeing Annie's power, wondered, "Who is this girl? Is there such a strong person in Boss Town? Did she just use the red demon eye? Shouldn't the people of Jimji's bloodline have died long ago?" He sent a clone to take a closer look, thinking she might be a good target. However, Annie sensed his presence and looked back with a stare. As she stared at the Azathoth clone with her red demon eye, the parasite instantly died. She wondered, who was there just now? After hearing everything, Leping realized that just by looking at those dark gears, they could confirm that the Dark Guild was behind all this. Annie agreed with him, but told Leping that before the mysterious man disappeared, she felt the same magic as her eyes, so maybe catching him would give her a clue to her previous memories. Leping asked Annie to relax, telling her that memories would surely come back slowly. Annie thanked Leping for his encouragement and asked if he had come to see her for something specific this time. Leping awkwardly told Annie, "In fact, the main purpose was to see how you're recovering. If you're still troubled by any psychological issues recently, you can talk to me about them at any time." Annie explained that after his enlightenment, Brother Leping, she had completely come out of the past. Just as Sister Elizabeth said, she wants to use the power of Jimji's bloodline to contribute to world peace. Upon hearing this, Leping was really happy and said, "That's great. I knew leaving it to you was the right choice." Annie reassured him, "You don't have to worry. You can leave it to me." However, Leping was a little sad as he said, "I'm ashamed to say it. You know that Elizabeth doesn't care about the outside world now, so I should be the one to put the world back on track. But as someone who doesn't know magic, I can't do much. If I, the so-called legendary hero, really had to take action, I might screw everything up." Upon hearing this, Annie's hand started shaking. She asked Leping, "What do you mean?" imagining Leping wanted to tell her that the world was too weak in front of him and that mortals couldn't even deal with the Dark Guild. She thought, "If you want me to take action, then I will have to completely reconstruct this world." Annie became really scared, thinking, Brother Leping means that if it doesn't work well, everyone will die. Meanwhile, Leping told Annie, "Elizabeth praised you for your talent. You have such ability and also a kind heart. Therefore, the peace of the hero's continent should be handed over to people like you." Annie told Leping that she would try her best. However, she wondered, when Brother Leping said that I have that kind of ability, he meant, "The power he gave me is more than enough to destroy the Dark Guild. But I am still far from being able to control that power." Annie asked for forgiveness, telling him, "I will do better next time." Leping grabbed his bag and gave it to Annie, saying, "As agreed last time, I'll bring you a bunch of fruits during the harvest and I'll send them regularly in the future, so you should work hard here." Upon seeing the magical fruits, Annie was surprised, thinking, Brother Leping knew that I was far from being able to use my power, so he brought so many precious magic fruits to help me. Moreover, Brother Leping said that he would send them regularly, meaning he would supervise whether I misused the abilities he gave me. She thanked Leping, saying, "I will never betray your trust, and I will protect Boss Town." Upon seeing Annie happy, Leping thought, "Then I can go out for a walk without worrying." He was fulfilling the agreement he reached with Elizabeth to rule the world, even though it was an agreement she had made. When Annie heard "rule the world," she asked Leping, "Does this mean that the legendary hero still has to take action himself?" Leping told her, "It's not what you think. In fact, the ultimate goal is to pursue peace. To achieve this goal, in Elizabeth's view, ruling the world is sufficient. But unlike Elizabeth, I want to do it in my own way." With a serious face, Annie asked, "What kind of way is that?" Leping smiled and said, "That's why I'm here today. I came here specifically to ask for advice from you, Annie. Surprised, Annie asked. Why do you want my advice? Leping replied. You've read so many books, so you should know a lot about the hero's continent. I wonder if you could tell me about the information of the major powers in the hero's continent. Annie agreed, saying, I will tell you everything I know, Brother Leping. I don't know much about the Dark Guild in the Demon Realm, but with the Poison Swamp as a barrier, there are mainly 3 major powers here: the Sword Saint Guild, the Elf Tribe, and the Kingdom of Aristotle. The Dwarf Kingdom exists more in a supporting role, but due to the demand for weapons, it has the closest relationship with the Sword Saint Guild, which also provides protection for the Dwarf Kingdom. At the same time, the Sword Saint Guild is also the default leader of all other guilds. Anyone who wants to establish a guild must obtain the approval of the Sword Saint Guild. Before the Dark Guild appeared, there were actually constant disputes between the races. After the Dark Guild appeared, the various forces were busy taking precautions, which temporarily put everyone on the same side. Among the big powers, Jijai Saugus, the president of the Sword Saint Guild, was the most powerful, so she set up the Sword Saint Guild near the Poison Swamp area to intimidate the Dark Guild. The Kingdom of Aristotle is a super kingdom known for its fusion of technology and magic, but it began to close its doors 10 years ago. No one knows what their situation is now. Although the Elf Tribe is also isolated, they still allow their tribesmen to interact with the outside world. However, if outsiders want to enter the Elf Tribe, it's not easy. The Sword Saint Guild is a newcomer, but has quickly become the strongest. Many towns have joined the Sword Saint Guild to seek refuge, which has caused resentment from the Kingdom of Aristotle and the Elf Tribe. Due to the powerful strength of the Lord Sword Saint, everyone was still in a peaceful relationship. But in fact, the other 2 parties were also happy to see the Dark Guild active as a way to hold the Sword Saint Guild in check. Boss Town, where she is, maintains a neutral position because it is far from the 3 parties. So, none of them sent anyone to help with this incident. Upon hearing everything, Leping understood that, except for the Sword Saint Guild, each group was just trying to deal with the trouble in front of them, which allows the Dark Guild to take advantage of it. Annie questioned Leping about how he planned to achieve peace in the hero's continent in this current situation. Leping replied, True peace can't be achieved by simply eliminating the Dark Guild. If the conflicts between the 3 major powers aren't resolved, even if the Dark Guild is gone, it might lead to another disaster if they fight afterward. Elizabeth can use her strength to suppress everyone, but I am different from her. I hope to unite various forces and let them form a true alliance in the process of fighting against the Dark Guild. I have given up on the path of magic, and after more than a month of trying swordsmanship, the sword master refused to accept me. When I asked Elizabeth for swordsmanship, she said that I was deliberately looking for trouble and told me not to learn it in the future. It's true that I have no talent in swordsmanship, so the method of using force is completely unworkable. But after thinking about it for a while, I can change it to this method. So, he thought maybe the crisis of the Dark Guild could be turned into an opportunity for the hero's continent to maintain long-term stability and peace without a common enemy. But the biggest challenge is how exactly he will convince the major powers. He concluded that he would have to go out and experience it. This is also the only way he can think of to be different from Elizabeth. Annie also agrees with Leping, thinking in a completely different way from Sister Elizabeth. Maybe everything is just a bet between the hero and the demon queen to see whose method is best. 500 years ago, Elizabeth achieved peace by ruling the world in a simple, direct, and efficient way. But the downside is that when she's not around, strife returns, and the world falls into chaos again. 500 years later, Leping adheres to the concept of teaching a man how to fish is better than giving him a fish. He wants mortals to take the initiative to achieve peace. This is the most ideal, but at the same time, it is unprecedented. Therefore, he decided to visit the hero's continent and see who was worthy of his help. just like the last time he visited the Golden Dragon's treasure dungeon. As for Annie, Leping's purpose in training her is to become a pawn in his grand plan and become a new force in Boss Town. However, the expansion of strength may make people forget their original intentions, and if she no longer conforms to Leping's core values in the future, she might also be eliminated. She thought, "Annie, what are you thinking about? You're still thinking about your own life and death. I should feel honored to be Brother Leping's pawn and contribute to the world in such a grand plan." Convincing the major powers to truly unite and eliminate the strife that has existed for hundreds of years is probably more difficult than annihilating the Dark Guild. If someone else said that, it might only be taken as a joke, but if it was Brother Leping who said it, it would be a completely different story. It's definitely possible for him. Brother Leping can definitely do it. Therefore, I must quickly improve myself and strive to use the angel Raphael gifted to me by Brother Leping as soon as possible. Leping excitedly asked Annie, "What are you thinking about that makes you so obsessed?" and asked her to tell him more about the hero's continent. He also questioned, "What kind of existence is the kingdom of Aristotle, known for its technology and magic?" Annie replied, "I've never been there, and I don't know it well. But what the books say is that they can drive a steel giant as big as a castle with a very small amount of magic." Upon hearing this, Leping got excited, saying, "I really want to see it. The Sword Saint Guild has some intersection, so should I make the kingdom of Aristotle my first stop next?" However, Annie recommended, "It's more suitable for you to go to the elf tribe first. First, because the kingdom of Aristotle is still closed. Second, news recently spread that a new guild recognized by the Sword Saint Guild and gaining fame had also gone to the elf tribe. Meanwhile, Mr. Boss and Alif have arrived in the elf tribe.